Let's begin by telling you that the Private Telecommunications and Communications Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PTECSSAN, has rejected the planned nationwide protest by the Nigeria Labour Congress over the recently approved 50% increase in Telecom's tariff. PTECSSAN, in a letter addressed to the NLC leadership, argued that the tariff hike, though painful, is necessary to prevent the imminent collapse of the sector. The NLC had earlier rejected the tariff increase, describing it as an additional burden on Nigerians already grappling with rising costs of living. The Labour Union directed its affiliate unions to mobilize members for a protest scheduled for February 4, 2025. However, PTECSSAN, which represents workers in the telecom sector, expressed disappointment that the NLC took the decision without consulting it. To discuss this, we are joined by a public affairs analyst, Moses Idika. Mr. Idika, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, so telcos say that a hike is necessary to improve infrastructure and service delivery and to prevent the imminent collapse of the sector. Are those reasons valid enough?
Well, it's quite unfortunate. However, when you look at the parameters on which they are operating from, you find out that the increase is actually inevitable. I'm not speaking for the telcos, and I'm not speaking for NLC, but if you look at what is going on, every telecom company in Nigeria is run on diesel. There is no public power supply to subsidize their cost of energy. When you look at that, you find out that it's obviously inevitable because every single station of any of the telcos is run on diesel. None of them is relying on public power supply. And when you look also, when you look at the equipment with which they work with, they are not locally manufactured. Most of them import from outside Nigeria, and we know what the Forex is talking now. A dollar is close to, it's about 2,000 naira today. So when you look at all this, you find out that the telcos are themselves struggling. And it's unfortunate. I think NLC should be directing their anger at the federal government of Nigeria because the environment in which all these telcos operate is very, very, very daunting. They provide security for themselves. They provide electricity for themselves. They provide water. And of course, they have to pay their workers. And they have to upgrade to be at par with other operators outside the country. So it's a difficult situation. I think that there should be some form of negotiation between the telcos and the NLC, the workers there, the operators. Let there be behind the scene negotiation. Maybe they can further reduce the percentage of increase. But from all indication, it is obvious that the increase is inevitable.
Well, the NLC proposed 5%, and some people have said that that is a good place to start, but it seems as though telecom operators are not willing to toe that line. Do you think that could actually, be a better way to hike the price at this point, looking at the inflationary pressures and the cost of living crisis?
Well, you see that the telcos, they are even humane in the way they are going about it. Our own government wake up every day and things just increase. Electricity tariff has increased. Petroleum product prices seriously increased. And it just happens. Nobody wants us. But we heard that Nigerian Communications Commission negotiated on behalf of the federal government with the telcos, and I'm not even sure they have started the implementation of the 50% hike in their tariff, but I think that there's always room for negotiation instead of picketing or forcing them out. If the telcos decide to down tools, it's going to, the effect on our economy, on the people, is going to be very, very, very dire. So I think that the NLC should have a jaw with these people so that we don't have to further, worsen the situation Nigerians have found themselves today.
Well, Moses, earlier on you talked about the fact that the fuel price or price of diesel has skyrocketed, and these companies would be the one to actually fuel the cost of production or, of course, their services. We've also seen astronomical rise in operational costs. We've seen hike in electricity tariffs, and all these as a result of government policies. Now, some Nigerians are saying that this administration should bear the hike burden and not even the businesses or the consumers, before we even start talking about dialogue. Do you agree?
I agree to some extent, because based on what is going on, these companies, you also know that they pay all manner of taxes. They pay to local government, they pay to state, they pay to federal government. Even to import their equipment, they pay taxes on those equipment. So I think that what the NLC should be doing is to perhaps see how the tax burden on these telcos can be reduced so that it can further drive down the cost of their services to the Nigerian public. But if we face the telecom companies, we all know that they are private operators and they can decide to look elsewhere. What if they decide to operate from Ghana or from any other places and now sell their products in Nigeria? Those are possibilities. We've seen several companies leave Nigeria to some other West African countries, and we still use their products in Nigeria.
But Nigeria is a big market.
The problem is the group.
Nigeria is a big market. You think they would want to, leave such a market like that, looking at the sensitivity of the kind of service they provide?
No, Nigeria is a key market anywhere in the world. You can't be talking about close to 300 million people, and you can't joke with such that kind of market. But what we are saying is that the government should create an enabling environment whereby businesses can be profitable. When businesses are profitable, more investors will come, and then there will be employment for people, and then generally Nigeria becomes richer and the economy becomes more buoyant. But you look at the current government is so tax crazy. They are taxing everybody. They are increasing taxes, yet the services that the government is supposed to provide is not providing it. Like we are talking about the telecom companies. This is perhaps one of the few countries where the telecom companies provide every single thing they need to work with, including the basics like electricity, like security, like power. It's a very serious situation. So I think that what we are getting from the telecom companies is a rub-off of the environment in which they are operating from. And I think that the NLC, nobody understands the economy of Nigeria more than the NLC. They know exactly what to do. It is not about the telecom company. It is about their operating environment. It is about their cost of operation.
All right, thank you so much, Moses Idika, Public Affairs Analyst, for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.